I was recently clearing out and taking stock of what puzzles I still had in my collection, and I came across this puzzle. This is something that I forgot I had entirely until I rediscovered it a couple of days ago. This is a puzzle that I unboxed alongside a bunch of other puzzles that came from Core Cube mods about a year ago, and I forgot how much fun this puzzle is, which is why I've decided to cover it in today's video. For those that don't know, this is the Whirly puzzle, designed by Core Cube mods, 3D printed, and it's just an overall fascinating and fun little puzzle. As you can see, we have this grid of 16 individual circles, and within each circle is a number and a colour in a seemingly random order, and it's obviously our job to get everything back into the correct order and colour. Looking at the back, we have 5 individual knobs which can be turned anti-clockwise or clockwise using quarter turns at a time. And what that does is it'll turn 4 individual numbers for us. So obviously we have top right, top left, bottom right, and then the all important middle circle here. So obviously if we only had the 4 corner turning ones, we wouldn't really have a puzzle. It's this middle one that really jumbles things up for us, and it's this one that allows individual pieces from one corner to move into another corner, and that's essentially what we're looking at. I've solved this a few times, but one thing I didn't realise is that we have little coloured pieces of plastic which hold the individual number pieces in place, and this actually tells us what colour we need for that individual circle. So we have gold, we have silver, we have blue, and we have red. So that's sort of our basis for getting started with this puzzle. So why don't we get started and see if we can solve it. Okay, so let's start with gold. I'm essentially just going to try and get all of our gold pieces into the middle, which is very easy to do. But as you can see, it's all sort of jumbled up, which isn't so good. So I'm going to try and order them individually. So we're going to pop the 4 in here, and we're going to move it around, open the slot for the 3, do the same for the 2, and then we have the 1. Although as you can see, we have some kind of issue here whereby the 1 and the 2 are not oriented correctly, and I suppose what we're going to want to do is sort that out because that's not good. There we go. So I think every single circle has it. I think it's kind of like a parity in that they have the place where they're supposed to be, and if it's the correct place, then all of the other pieces will orient correctly as well. Whereas if it's in the wrong place, for example, I think the 3 and the 4 were placed incorrectly, which meant that the 1 and the 2 would never be flipped correctly while being in the correct permutation. So that's just something to watch, I suppose. So moving on, let's do, what do we have here? The silvers. So we already have 2 of the silvers here, which is super handy. And I can see that the 1 is in the right place. So let's just fix that one nice and easy. And that means that the 3 needs to go here. And we have the 3 here. But the issue is with the middle, if we want to put the 3 in, it's going to move the 4 out of the way. And we can quite easily work around this by just doing displacement moves, which is, very easy. It's a bit like commutators on a larger order puzzle, but it is going to pose problems for us at the bottom here, but I guess we'll get to that momentarily. So next up we have the blue, so let's do that. So we have the same issue whereby the 1 and 2 are placed and oriented correctly, but that means that this 3 doesn't quite look nice. So let's put that in the right place. 1, 2, 3, and then when we do our 4, that works out nicely. And this is the sort of issue I was talking about before. So now we have too many pieces in circulation up here, and that really throws things off. So we're gonna have to just ignore this little circle while we sort out the final bottom right red pieces. So we have the 1, and essentially we have these 2 here, which I've already built. I'm going to sort of rotate between these 2 pieces here. So the 1, let's get that out of the way, and we can perhaps slot a 2 in. So the 2's there. and then we have the 3 and 4 that need to be placed. So let's pop the 3 in, let's pop the 4 in, and then let's rotate. And as you can see, the puzzle is now solved, which is, I think it should be more difficult than that. I think there should be a way, well, I think there is a way. I know that there's a way where these are all jumbled up incorrectly. Let me show you an example of that. So we need to swap this one here, this one here. So I think what we need to do is essentially cycle round all of our pieces. So we're essentially, do you remember earlier we had the 1 and 2 correctly placed and oriented? But because of the way they were oriented, the 3 and the 4 couldn't be oriented correctly. So essentially we had this parity because some of the pieces were in the wrong cycle or the wrong orbit. So essentially I reorganized the red corner here, and in doing so it pushed the blue 2 a little bit further along, so that when we essentially restored 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2 was where we wanted it. Previously, when it was not in the correct cycle, the 2 was getting stuck here because it was the wrong sort of number of moves in order to solve. And that's essentially how parity works. It's where things have got a little bit jumbled up, and you've sort of thrown the algorithm out of whack a little bit, and you need to sort of undo the problem that you've caused a little bit later on, and that's how you solve the puzzle. And I guess if we do sort of 8 turns, you can see that everything is lined up in the mechanism and it's essentially solved. That's it. It's a pretty straightforward puzzle. I made it way more complicated than it needed to be because it really is not that difficult, but it is a really fun puzzle all the same, and I just thought I'd give it a bit of limelight because it is an interesting puzzle, and I don't think a puzzle being necessarily easy makes it a bad puzzle. I think it's pretty innovative, it's a really nice design, and I think Jared at CoreCube Mods did a really good job with this. So if you are interested in checking this puzzle out, I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can of course check out CoreCube Mods on his socials and definitely show him some love. He has some really nice puzzles, and I guess that's it. Remember to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I come out with a new video. But that's it from me, guys. Have a really awesome day, and I will see you next time. Let's fix that. Alright, see you later.